Hi. So if you're curious about what happened in Jason Pargin's newest book, I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom, you are in the right place. My hope is that you have read and loved this book and that you are here to revisit the events that occurred in this wonderful book. But if you're here for other reasons, as in you have not read the book, but you're curious about the story and you want to know what happened in this book, I'm going to give you a recap on everything that happened in Black Box of Doom. This was such a wonderful book. Okay, look, this is not a review video. This is a summary video. So with that being said, this video contains massive spoilers. If you're curious about my spoiler-free review, I will drop a link below in the description box. I gotta say, again, this is not a review video, but I love this book, and I hope that you make your way to this story. I hope that you read it. I hope you listen to the audiobook, or welcome to the summary video. I'm glad that you're here. Before we go any further, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you. I love this channel. I love connecting with other readers around the globe, and this is my passion. I could do this all day long. I love talking books. I love chatting with other readers. So once again, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for your support, and without further ado, let's get into everything that happened, and I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom by Jason Pargin. This story takes place over the course of 5 days. So here we go, day by day. Day 1. Abbott is a 26-year-old Lyft driver who received a job to pick up a woman. When he arrives, he finds her sitting on a large black box. She has shaved hair, green sunglasses, and is wearing a cap that reads, "Welcome to the shit show." The woman, Ether, offers Abbott $200,000 to drive her from California to Washington, D.C., but Abbott has to leave all his electronic devices at home. He cannot ask what's in the box. He can't tell anyone where he's going or what he is doing. Abbott seems tempted by the money, but is unsure if he should agree. Ether notices his reluctance, but eventually convinces Abbott to agree. She allows him to go home and pack a few things before they depart. Abbott really wants to escape his father, Hunter, and move out of his father's home. But before he leaves the house, he live streams a Twitch video his username is Abaddon, which will soon become his most viewed video. He leaves his dad a note saying that he is going to be gone in order to help a friend move some stuff and work a cash job. Ether forces him to leave his phone and laptop, but Abbott goes to his father's room and takes his gun from the nightstand. We jump to a man who appears at a scene where the Apple Valley Fire Department has just extinguished a fire that consumed a shack in the desert. The man, Malort, who is bald and covered in tattoos, talks to one of the firefighters at the scene and asks questions about a box. He pretends to be a government official to get information about this box. Abbott and Ether hit the road. Viewers start commenting on Abbott's most recent upload. Some comment that Abbott's behavior is very strange. Retired FBI agent Joan Key is having a conversation with Patrick Diaz, her former colleague and friend at a diner. Though she is retired, Key has been following cases of radioactive material going missing. While each case has small quantities, she worries that if it is the same entity collecting the small amounts, eventually the perp will have enough to create a nuclear bomb. She tells Patrick about the little shack that went up in flames and how it is down the hill from the residence of Phil Green, who turned up dead in his home. She tells Patrick that there are underground tunnels connecting the home to the shack and that there is a bomb shelter underneath. Patrick thanks her for the tip, but tells her not to investigate this on her own. Abbott's father, Hunter, has just discovered his son's note and is immediately convinced that Abbott is engaging in something illegal. He assumes it's drug-related. He realizes that Abbott has left his phone and laptop in his room, which is uncharacteristic. Feeling disappointed in his son's poor decisions and angered at the actions of his idiot son, he determines the need to go after Abbott. He enters his room and notices that Abbott took his gun. Hunter logs into Abbott's Twitch account to chat with his followers to see if Abbott said anything to them recently and if they knew where he went. He mentions Abbott's note and that he is concerned about him. He gets called an asshole by someone in the chat, but Zeke, one of Abbott's loyal viewers, is also concerned and tells Hunter that Abbott had mentioned on a previous livestream that he only had 2 days left on his medication, so Hunter should go to Abbott's pharmacy to see if he can catch him there. Abbott and Ether stop at the pharmacy so that Abbott can get a refill on his prescription to manage his anxiety, and they have to wait a while before the meds are ready. Hunter arrives at the Walgreens and goes directly to the pharmacy to ask for Abbott. The pharmacist tells him he can't reveal information about clients, and Hunter resorts to yelling Abbott's name in the store in case he's still there. Abbott hears his father calling him and spots him before Hunter sees him. Abbott and Ether make a run for it before Hunter notices that they're there, and they end up leaving without his medication. When Hunter leaves the Walgreens, he sees a bunch of law enforcement officers surrounding a blue pickup truck at a gas station across the street. He asks a woman who is recording what is going on, and the woman states that the vehicle is being tested for radioactive material. Hunter encounters Malort, who is also at the scene. Hunter is chasing his son, while Malort is chasing Ether. They start asking questions about the truck. Malort asks Hunter if he saw the box. Hunter says no. Malort tells Hunter that he is keeping up with what's going on, and he is tuned into the police scanner. Hunter asks if the police are looking for a white SUV, and Malort tells him that they are, in fact, looking for a white SUV that they think is tied to the radioactive pickup truck. They lie to each other about why they're there at the gas station and silently determine that they are both assholes before parting ways. Zeke, Abbott's online friend, decides to put up a post on Reddit to help find Abbott. His first post doesn't get any attention, so he deletes it and puts up a more sensational post, which quickly gets traction. However, the Reddit post quickly draws the attention of Redditors who assume the worst of Abbott, believing him to be in cahoots with Ether, and all sorts of assumptions, theories, and accusations start getting posted in the comments, detracting from Zeke's intention of wanting Abbott found safely, which eventually makes him create a subreddit of his own so he can try to keep the crazies out. One prevailing theory is that Ether and Abbott are terrorists planning to bomb the nation's capital. Zeke also has a sister, Cammy, who also becomes interested in Zeke's investigation and efforts to help find Abbott. Key is very involved in this radioactive investigation following the death of Phil Green and the fire that consumed the shack. She keeps nudging her old colleague, Patrick, to pursue the case, but he keeps brushing her off. Though she is retired and has no official authority, Key goes to the gas station where the box was last seen. She is trying to think about where the young woman may have ditched her phone. As she is heading to the trash can, she encounters Malort, who beat her to it and is already digging in the trash. She stops him by flashing her badge and telling him that all trash is considered evidence. Malort tells her that he dropped his phone in there and is trying to fish it out. After he retrieves his phone, he says that the trash is all hers. Since Key is retired, there really isn't much she can do about this, but she knows that this guy is bad news as she saw him at the Green residence. She has no choice but to let him go. Malort obtained Ether's discarded phone from the trash and is glad to see that he was able to crack her password in just 2 tries. He is able to see her location as there is an Apple AirTag in the box. Now he knows exactly where they are headed, and he is going to pursue them on the road. Meanwhile, Key goes back to her apartment where she throws up after eating a burrito, and she continues to obsess over the case. Key is heavily involved in using social media, that was her specialty when she was still FBI, and peruses the internet to find leads. She uses Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but mostly Reddit. She discovers Zeke's subreddit, and Zeke helps her identify the vehicle make, model, and license plate that Abbott took off in with the woman. There is a video that has gone viral showing Ether, dubbed as GSG, Green Sunglasses Girl, broken down in a blue pickup truck. She is having a meltdown after having broken down. Key knows that this is the girl from the shack near the Phil Green place. Meanwhile, Abbott and Ether are on the road. They find out that they have extremely different personalities. Abbott is much more reserved and has anxiety, while Ether is way more outgoing and so much more talkative. They stop at another Circle K where a 22-year-old Tanisha has spotted them. Tanisha takes a picture of them and posts it on the subreddit where she gets a ton of responses. Tanisha wants to take a note of when their SUV left the parking lot and which direction it went, but she discovers that it's still there in the lot and that the couple is currently talking to 2 women in a minivan. Ether runs over to the minivan where they see a woman sitting in the open sliding door crying her eyes out. There is another woman there attempting to console her. Abbott and Ether speak to the women who say that they have lost their bunny. They are completely hysterical. Ether says that she is going to move their vehicle in order to open a pump that they are currently blocking, and Abbott helps one of the women try to find their bunny. Abbott is looking for a way to abandon the bunny search gracefully. Right when he is trying to escape the crying woman, they hear a dog barking. Abbott follows the woman and sees that the dog is barking at the bunny. The dog lunges and grabs at the bunny, but the bunny is able to escape. The dog's owner, a wiry guy that Abbott refers to as Tank Top, is now involved in trying to recover the bunny. They cross all 4 lanes of traffic, hoping that they don't encounter a squished bunny. They spot the rabbit, and Tank Top coaches Abbott on how to properly pick up a bunny without spooking it. He says he can't do it himself as he smells like dog and it will scare the rabbit. Abbott tries to grab the bunny, but it gets away, but luckily it runs right into the owner, Lupita. The women are very appreciative for the help, and Abbott notices that he's never felt this good before, but his mood quickly sours after he sees that the navigator is gone, and he assumes that Ether has ditched him. She pulls up shortly after to pick him up. Abbott is still not convinced that she didn't try to ditch him, but Ether eventually manages to talk him into getting into the SUV. Malort shows up at Circle K looking for Ether and the box. He goes into the gas station and threatens really, the manager and asks pointed questions. As he exits the gas station, a kid with an AR-15 arrives at the gas station. The kid with the AR-15 has been following the events of the subreddit, Abaddon's Navigator, and is there in the hopes that he can prevent the terrorist attack that he thinks Abbott and GSG are about to commit. Comments in the thread keep discouraging this kid from taking action. The kid live streams this event. Malort ducks behind his vehicle and grabs his sawed-off shotgun, but the police show up and Malort is surprised by the rapid response. He decides to try and crawl into his car so he can go after Ether, but before he can make a move, one of the cops points his gun at him and tells him to drop to the ground. Malort tosses his shotgun into his car and drops to the ground, telling the officer that he's just there to get gas and isn't involved in any of this. The police deal with the kid, and Malort eventually gets back onto the road to pursue Ether and the box. Ether and Abbott drive for several more hours and stop at a hotel. They get out of the SUV and Abbott notices a red car that pulled up and blocked the entrance to the lot. He notices that it seems like the same car he noticed at Circle K. Ether notices that it's Malort and pulls Abbott back, telling him to get in the SUV, while she quickly jumps into the driver's seat. She drives over and through a bunch of bushes and makes it to the interstate. They drive for a long while, hoping to lose Malort. Abbott sleeps in the car while Ether drives. We then switch back to Key, who has taken an edible and is taking a very relaxing bath. She is scrolling social media, trying to follow everything going on about Abbott, GSG, and the box. She has a fleeting thought about suicide and remembers that this is how she gets when she's high. Ether is driving and feels confident that they have lost Malort. She does not know about the AirTag inside the box and assumes that Malort was able to find them because they took the most obvious route. They make their way to Roswell, the land of aliens and UFOs. Zeke is eagerly awaiting any updates and is continually refreshing his Reddit feed. He hasn't heard anything since the live stream from the kid with the AR-15 was shut down by Facebook. Abbott and Ether stop at a hotel for the night. Ether wants to stay with the box even though she got them a hotel room. She tells Abbott that she will sleep in the car. Abbott doesn't want to leave her unattended in the car with or without the keys. It's too hot to leave her without the keys, but he doesn't trust her enough to not take off if she has the keys. Abbott agrees to sleep in the car as well. They have a conversation about the origins of aliens. Occasionally, we experience blogs from Phil Green. In one of his blogs, Phil Green mentions his daughter who passed away. Her name was Sunday. Day 2. Hunter is at a job site with his employees when Key shows up to interrogate him about Abbott, and she leaves him with her number so they can keep in touch in case anything else about Abbott turns up. Abbott wakes up in the Navigator and sees Malort pointing a sawed-off shotgun in his face, telling him to get out of the car. Abbott finds that Ether is gone. Ether, who had gone off to the room they had booked to take a shower, reappears and makes her way back to the car. Malort sees her and attacks her. Malort is roughly pressing Ether's face into the pavement hard enough to make her bleed when Abbott takes his father's gun and shoots at Malort, unloading the whole magazine, yet miraculously missing every single shot. Ether slashes Malort's tires, and they leave. After the encounter with Malort, Ether and Abbott accidentally drive through a heavily populated parade. Video footage of them driving through the parade was taken by a number of parade attendees. These videos went viral after they were posted across several social media platforms. This, of course, generates a lot of new theories about the alleged fugitives, or terrorists, that are posted online. They discover the AirTag and wrap the box in tinfoil to hopefully block the signal. Ether discovers that Phil Green's daughter Sunday put an AirTag in the box. We discover that Sunday and Malort had a history. Malort has always loved Sunday and felt romantic feelings for her, though those feelings were never reciprocated. Sunday only considered Malort a friend, and she favored his friend, Gary Sokolov. Malort was devastated by her passing. Key goes to Phil Green's house and is intercepted by her old colleague, Patrick Diaz, before she's about to go down the hatch and into a tunnel. Key finds empty envelopes in the mattress at the greenhouse. We find out that Ether was an influencer. She used to post makeup tutorials. She is recognized by a fan who asks if she can take a photo of her with Ether. Ether agrees, but asks the fan to not post it. The fan does not honor this request, and the photo makes its way onto the internet. Ether and Abbott are on the road and make it to Roswell. They have intense conversations where Abbott tells her how he hates women. Abbott says that he will never make it as big as Ether simply because he is a male. He dislikes how much of an advantage women have while males are constantly at a disadvantage. Ether disagrees with his outlook on the subject and tries to converse with him about it, though Abbott is defensive and unwilling to change his opinions. A new theory is circulating online about a girl named Hallie Swanson, one of Abbott's old schoolmates. The theory states that Abbott killed Hallie and that her body is in the box. A user with the name Hallie Swanson responds to this post confirming that she is indeed not dead. She is alive and well. Another theory states that the box holds the corpse of an extraterrestrial. Hunter calls Key and he is clearly rattled about all the wild theories he's been reading about his son, and he is sure that his son is not a terrorist. He considers what actions to take in order to try to save his son from any calamity. Abbott and Ether have a conversation. Abbott expresses his hatred for women once again. We learn more about what he said that got him in trouble online. He said that he would rather be sexually assaulted 50 times than be accused a single time, and that being assaulted only lasts a few minutes while an accusation has repercussions for a lifetime. We also, at this time, learn what the black box of doom is. Ether and her friends call it that to represent the anxieties that are born from misguided information obtained from the internet. The information that is so readily available to us via smartphones, laptops, etc., etc., the harm that can be caused by endless amounts of information, some accurate, some not, and how glued we are to our devices and how hungry we are for information. A man in a Fiat sees the navigator. When he peeks inside, he can identify Abbott and Ether as he has been following the stories on the internet. In an act of what he considers to be heroism, he tries to run them off the road. He ends up blocking them at a bridge over water, but the Fiat is tiny in comparison to the navigator, so when the collision occurs, the Fiat is sent tumbling into the river while the navigator only suffers damage to the front of the vehicle, which Abbott has serious anxiety about as this is his father's vehicle. Though this dude tried to run Abbott and Ether off the road, they decide to help the guy out. They pull him out of the vehicle and help him to land. He ends up saying that he needs the cactus that is sitting in the passenger side of his vehicle. He is panicking, saying that it's a family heirloom. Abbott helps the guy out and retrieves the cactus before him and Ether continue on their way before the police arrive. Since Malort's tires were slashed, he hitchhikes. A nice truck driver picks up Malort and transports him as far as his route aligns with his. Malort sets his sight on a yellow flower delivery van with a picture of a bouquet on the side. This is Malort's new mode of transportation. We flash back to a moment from long ago when Malort and Gary Sokolov were best friends. They were at a bar with Sunday playing pool when they encounter a kid named Miles. Miles, overly confident about his skills in pool, makes high-stakes bets with Malort and Gary. When Miles loses and doesn't have the money to make good on the bet, Malort and Gary beat him up. Out of desperation, Miles offers them his laptop. The laptop has Bitcoin on it, which will grow in value to millions, though neither party is currently aware of that. Gary Sokolov, Malort's friend, is a billionaire and a finance guru, hosting an all-day event in McLean, Virginia. There will be a children's choir concert, brunch, and daytime fireworks display. 3 members of the Supreme Court and politicians will be in attendance. Key worries that this is the location for the terrorist attack. Ether and Abbott stop at Walmart. Abbott buys a smartphone without Ether knowing. He also buys shoes as he lost one of them in the river when he was helping the Fiat guy. Ether buys first aid supplies and a new hat that says vacay mode. The Fiat guy posts a comment on the internet stating that he can speak from personal experience that Abbott and Ether are very nice people. He mentions how Abbott helped retrieve his family heirloom cactus, and he promptly gets banned from the subreddit that is more interested in wild theories about the supposed criminals. Abbott asks Ether who she really is. Her online name is Butterflaps. Her real name is Karen Wozniak. She discloses what happened and why she left her channel. There was a bully named Jolene Brooks, and Karen let the location of her residence slip in her Discord. Her fans and followers put a call into SWAT. SWAT showed up and killed her dogs and wounded her dad. Ether wanted to make everything right. She wants to make money to give to Jolene to try to right her wrongs as she feels awful that things got so out of hand. Ether admits to Abbott that she doesn't know what's in the box. She was paid to do a job, which is transport the box, and intends to do it even though she has no idea what she's transporting. They then set up camp in the woods near a lake. Day 3. When they wake up, Abbott is face to face with a policeman rapping on the window. He speeds off and his heart starts racing. Ether helps navigate him away. Neither of them are aware of their online fame, as they both do not currently have internet or any cellular devices. Ether suspects that they accidentally set up camp at a 4th of July celebratory spot, and that the police only approached their vehicle just to ask them to move in order to accommodate the cardboard boat race event occurring in the lake. Abbott has a conversation with Ether and contemplates the possibility that police are after him. He is horrified by what might happen to him if he gets caught and sent to jail. He has flashes of how traumatizing it would be for him to become a victim of non-consensual affection in jail, which is rich because he was recently downplaying the horror of a woman suffering the same fate. Abbott stops at a rest stop. When Ether goes in to wash up, Abbott fires up his new smartphone to move his prescription medication to a Nashville pharmacy, as they are scheduled to arrive there shortly. When he goes online, he discovers all the rumors that are circulating about him and Ether. He reads that he is the most wanted man in America, and he is shocked to hear of the conspiracy theories about Ether being a Russian terrorist. When Ether returns, she is shocked by all of this as well. She tells Abbott that there isn't anything radioactive in the box. She knew the person who had the box, Phil Green, and she truly believes it would not contain anything like that. Abbott and Ether are scheduled to appear in Nashville the following day, and Abbott plans to refill his prescription medication. Online followers track him and become privy to their upcoming destination. Key has found out and Hunter has found out where Ether and Abbott will be the following day. Both Key and Hunter end up on the same flight to Nashville, seated next to one another. They decide to work together as they are both pursuing the same individuals. Zeke, Abaddon's superfan, is also aware of Abbott being in Nashville the next day and determines to not allow his friend to be taken by authorities. He doesn't know what his plan is, only that he will get involved somehow to help Abbott. And his sister, Cammie, and her roller derby team are determined to help as well, especially after Zeke reminds them that Abbott is the one who helped them raise funds to fix their team's van. Zeke feels very grateful to have a friend like this in his life. Zeke and his sister Cammie and her roller derby friends are staked out at the pharmacy in their van. The girls are all drunk. Zeke is in a wheelchair, but is driving. He is sober as he is not supposed to drink while he is on all his medication. Key and Hunter are at a Waffle House together across the street from the pharmacy that Abbott is scheduled to arrive at. As they wait, Hunter and Key talk. Key is drunk and believes Hunter to be flirting with her. Hunter determines that Key is content with potentially dying on this mission. Day 4. Key and Hunter get in Key's rental car together and wait it out for Abbott and Ether to arrive. They notice that there are already 2 police patrol cars parked in the Walgreens parking lot, and that the parking lot is jam-packed with other cars. They suspect that all the cars in the lot are from those following Abbott in the vehicle on social media and are here to see and or record the events. Key believes that the police force is only present due to a complaint by Walgreens, leaving no parking for the actual customers, and not there as a way to intercept the possible bomb that is being transported by Abbott and Ether. Ether finally opens up to Abbott about the events that led up to her encountering Abbott with the box. She was good friends with Phil Green and his daughter Sunday. Phil's wife passed away, Sunday's mother, somewhat recently, and then Sunday passed due to breast cancer. Ether found herself part of the Green family. They offered her a place to stay in the shack next to their home. She gets a call from Gary Sokolov, who offers her $1 million to transport the box to Washington, D.C. He tells her that there is cash in the mattress. She takes the cash but leaves the envelopes. As she is about to leave, she encounters the tattooed monster, Malort, and she ends up setting fire to the shack as she is fleeing. As they are approaching Nashville, they hit some city traffic. They notice a motorcycle that has been following them. This motorcyclist has been following the drama on social media and made the decision to follow and live stream. A van blocks off a ramp to the intersection. Suddenly, pink paint is splattered all over the windshield of the Navigator, and Abbott is getting shouted at by the roller derby girls, saying that they are with Zeke, though he can't really hear or understand what it is that they're saying. The yellow van with the flower bouquet on the side T-bones Abbott's vehicle. Malort has just crashed into Abbott and Ether. This completely destroys the vehicle. Abbott is still strapped in, but realizes that the vehicle is on fire as he is surrounded by smoke. He is able to get out of the vehicle and help Ether get out as well. He sees Malort dragging the box away from the burning Navigator and hauling it into the back of the flower van. Ether runs after Malort and the box. Abbott sees a man running toward the burning Navigator, trying to break the window. Abbott calls over to the man to say that he got out. When the man turns, he realizes that it's his father, Hunter. As his father approaches, Abbott is shocked to see that his father is crying and saying over and over and over, "I thought you were dead." Key sees Malort and gives chase. She pulls out her Glock and commands Malort to stop. Meanwhile, there is a collision on the highway involving a concrete truck. Lots of spilled cargo in white plastic containers is raining down, and as Key is wondering what are in the tubs, Malort attacks her. Malort wrestles the gun away from Key and ends up pointing the gun at Ether. Abbott, without making a conscious decision to do so, places himself between the gun and Ether. This is when Hunter attacks Malort from behind and is able to eject the magazine and empty the chamber. In the collision that occurred on the interstate, the truck spilled hundreds of tubs of cottage cheese and hot sauce. While everyone is thus engaged, no one is watching the box. This is when Ether and Abbott realize that men in black have begun hauling the box away. The men in black say that the box is property of Sokolov and that Ether is released from duty as she failed to deliver it. The men tell Ether that she can keep the money that Sokolov paid her already, but that they will take it from here and she will not be paid any more. They take the box away in black SUVs. Malort, who is covered in hot sauce and cottage cheese, appearing to have emerged from a lasagna, steals Key's rental car and goes to pursue the box in the black SUV. Abbott realizes that Malort is getting away and worries about his dad. When he goes to him, his dad is okay, but has a nasty bite mark on his arm. Ether is in a panic as all the money burned up in the Navigator and she desperately wants to see this through, but they have no vehicle to pursue the SUV with the box. Right as Abbott is considering vehicle theft, Zeke and his sister arrive with their obscene van. The van has a girl with large boobs and bunny ears painted on it. Zeke offers Abbott a ride and Abbott doesn't want to admit that he doesn't know or doesn't recognize Zeke at first, but once Zeke clarifies his online name and refers to the chat, Abbott connects the dots. Zeke asks if GSG was burned up in the collision, but Ether is standing there and introduces herself. Zeke invites Abbott to get in again, but Hunter says that they have to stay and talk to the cops. Abbott has to make an important decision: hang back with his dad and talk to the cops, or see this through and go with Zeke and pursue the box. Abbott makes the decision to see this through. He gets in the van with Zeke, his sister Cammy, Ether, his dad, and Key to go pursue the box that was commandeered by Sokolov's men. Ether mysteriously disappears. She tells them to leave if she's not back in 5 minutes. The crew waits just a little longer than 5 minutes, but Ether returns with Phil Green's cell phone that Malort left in the flower van. The crew is on the road following the locator from the Apple AirTag when Key gets a call from Patrick, who says that it's all over. Patrick says that the highway patrol pulled over Sokolov's SUV with the box and that they had no grounds to confiscate or take action. They had to let the vehicle go. Patrick encourages Key to come home, but she refuses until she knows it's truly over. Because they are all covered in sriracha and or cottage cheese, they go to Buc-ee's to clean up. They end up having to purchase new clothes, and most end up sporting some type of Buc-ee's attire with a beaver on it. Abbott and the crew develop a weak plan, though it's the best plan they can devise. They go to Party City and buy lots of balloons. Malort goes to the same Party City to buy a wig for a disguise. Malort sees a bunch of idiots purchasing a lot of balloons, but does not identify that those idiots are Abbott and Ether. Malort steals a vehicle which has a hunting rifle in it. He makes it to Sokolov's mansion and shoots a window at the residence. Day 5. Malort disguises himself as a window repairman in order to gain entrance to the mansion. There's a crowd of people at the entrance of the residence, all standing outside the gates, all there because they've been following the Abbott and Ether story online and want to be there to stop them or get answers. Some believe that Abbott and Ether are terrorists and want to attack the Supreme Court justices. Others believe that the black box contains an alien corpse and they want answers, while others believe it's human trafficking. Zeke repaints his van to display an all-American party bus. The crew blows up red, white, and blue balloons. They arrive at the Sokolov residence. The crew splits up and Abbott and Ether join the crowd. They are quickly recognized. People in the crowd begin to live stream and record and ask Abbott and Ether lots of questions about their intentions with the box. Zeke drives the van to the intercom at the gate leading to the mansion. His sister is still in the passenger seat and Hunter and Key are hidden beneath a mountain of balloons in the back. Zeke did his research, and when the guard asks him who called in the party balloons, he says Tay-Tay, who is Sokolov's hidden younger lover. The guard allows him entrance. Abbott and Ether, who are trying to blend in with the crowd, start yelling along with the crowd, saying that the van should not be let in. The crowd is here to stop the mystery box from being delivered for a variety of reasons. Malort has located the box in a clear garage housing beautiful cars. He makes a show of trying to fix the window pane until he notices the guard is no longer around. He quickly loads up the box in his stolen truck and drives off with it. Meanwhile, Zeke, Cammy, Hunter, and Key are unloading all the balloons. Key quickly manages to get into the garage and try to find the box. She goes to the back of the SUV but finds that the box is missing. It's when she notices a truck is driving off and quickly realizes that Malort is the one driving off with the box. She tries to go after him, but she is quickly detained by the men in black, while at the same time she notices that the rest of her party are also being detained by the men in suits, while Malort is happily driving away, making his way to the mansion's gate, yet he is also detained by Sokolov's security and brought back to the mansion. Abbott and Ether are also apprehended by the men in suits and are brought into the mansion's sunroom, where Key, Hunter, Zeke, Cammy, and even Malort are already detained. Sokolov expresses how disappointed he is in Ether for failing to deliver the package and by drawing so much unwanted attention to it. Ether asks him to tell her what's in the box, just to sate her curiosity. Sokolov decides to show her what's in the box, and he is about to open the box. A loud commotion is heard outside. Sokolov decides to show her what's in the box, and as he's about to open the box, a loud commotion is heard outside. We flash back to the story of Miles, a college kid who Malort and Sokolov beat at pool. Miles had almost forgotten about that laptop after all the years had passed, but when he sees Gary Sokolov come into his wealth and become a well-known figure, Miles recognizes him and is filled with a need for vengeance. He leaves his wife and obsesses over getting his revenge against Gary for taking it all from him, so he plans and he builds. A homemade killdozer appears, and Miles is the one piloting it, and it's causing mass destruction. Panic ensues, and Abbott and team go out to see what's going on and how they can help. Zeke and Cammy are in full-blown action trying to get kids and bystanders to safety, and Abbott manages to save a political figure and a kid who are about to meet their doom via killdozer. Key and Hunter utilize the daytime fireworks and set them off, aiming them straight for the killdozer. The goal was not to damage the machine, which it didn't, but for the powder to blind the operator, which it did. The vehicle is now covered in red, white, and blue powder, and it renders the driver blind. The killdozer ends up in the pool, and the attendees are momentarily relieved until the machine emerges from the pool, the driver clearly having practiced for this exact scenario. The killdozer engages its flamethrowers and makes its way straight to the sunroom, which a lot of party attendees have been ushered into. The killdozer runs into the roof of the sunroom, and the top of the machine comes off. Miles is exposed wearing only a red Speedo. As soon as the top of the dozer comes off, it's able to keep moving into the sunroom. Most people manage to escape the room, but Malort stays behind as he is trying to grab the black box before it's destroyed by the killdozer. However, the dozer manages to run over it, breaking the box open. At long last, we find out what's in the box. It's all mementos from Sunday's time as a model/porn star. The box is full of magazines with her featured in them, as well as adult films she appeared in. The box also has her ashes. Malort is currently on fire, compliments of the flamethrower. He is completely distraught over the loss of Sunday's belongings, and he runs up and climbs into the cockpit with Miles. He chokes Miles until he dies. Miles is the only casualty in this whole ordeal. Abbott, Ether, Key, Hunter, Zeke, Cammy, Malort, and Sokolov all gather around as friends. Gary, also known as Sok, uses his grand barbecue to grill up some meat. Gary and Malort have a heart-to-heart in which they repair some of the damage to their friendship. These two have been friends for a long while, but Gary cut Malort off from the money in fear of what Malort would do or become with a substantial amount of wealth. Both men reminisce about their love for Sunday. Malort criticizes Gary for letting her go. Gary is filled with regret and confirms that Malort is right. He should have traded the money and chosen Sunday, but he says that they both had different dreams and visions for their future. Gary wanted to do something with the wealth, whereas Sunday wanted to live a normal, quiet life. Ether shares positive stories about Sunday, and Malort is devastated that all the items he kept about Sunday are gone as they went up in flames. Zeke contacts the internet folk to try to recover footage of Sunday. Several photos and videos have been found on the internet. Gary hears about Ether's desire to help Jolene, and they decide to take care of it now. They all pile into the limo and head to her place. Ether doesn't want to interact with Jolene, or let on that she was the one who did this, so they all wait in the limo while Gary's men produce and offer a full scholarship to the university of her choice and provide in-home care for her disabled father. Key hops on the phone with Patrick and admits that if Miles didn't show up, she'd never live it down, as she was wrong all along about what was in the box. She wonders briefly what a romantic life with Patrick would have been like, but she decides that Patrick dodged a bullet by never crossing that line. Patrick is now married with kids. Key and Hunter are now romantically involved. We don't know the extent of their relationship, but they are together. Abbott and Ether remain friends. They go to Phil Green's old place. Before Phil passed, he left his property to Ether in the will. It appears that Phil Green's death was truly an accident. He had fallen off a ladder while trying to fix something in his house. They find Phil's journaling all over the walls, and Ether decides she doesn't want to read his rantings as she wants to remember him for how he was. She and Abbott are painting the walls to cover up the writings, and Zeke has promised to stop by and paint a mural on the wall for her. There you have it. That is everything that happened in I'm Starting to Worry About This Black Box of Doom by Jason Pargin. I hope that you enjoyed the summary video. Look, this was actually really fun for me. I read this, a couple months ago. So I made all of my notes a long time ago, and it's been so fun to revisit them all this time later. And I feel like I'm kind of re-experiencing the story for the first time to some extent, because I've already forgotten these little details. So this was really fun for me. If you've already read and enjoyed this book, I'm so glad you're here to relive the amazing events that occurred in Black Box of Doom. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Or if this summary video is your first encounter with Box of Doom, I hope that I did the story justice because it's so good. I gotta tell you, of the 13 books that I've read so far in the year 2025, this one was my favorite. This one is my top favorite read of the year so far. If you have read this book, if you plan to read this book, if you are an established fan of Jason Pargin, I hope you leave me a comment. I'm such a huge Pargin fan. I have read all of the John Dies at the End books, and soon I will be diving into the world of Zoe Ash. I don't know when, but soon, sometime. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on Jason Pargin and his books, go ahead and peruse my channel because I have a lot of content on Jason Pargin and his books. I love his stuff. He's a masterful writer. What can I say? Once again, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you. If you ever find yourself in need of book summaries, I have a ton of those on this channel. I also have a ton of review videos, so if you're a book lover, this is the place for you, and I would love to have you. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for giving this video a watch. I hope you're reading something great. I really do. I hope to catch you in another video, and until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.